Hello, you're welcome to Timeless Conversation. My guest today is a very well-known Nigerian. He's an international figure. He has inspired quite a lot of young Nigerians today to speak out, to be non-conformist when things are going wrong. And at the same time, he's someone who cherishes his culture, his upbringing, the societal value, and the family place. My guest is none other than the man we all call Charly Boy, but he has the birth name of Charles Oputa. Charles Chukwuemeka Oputa, popularly known as Charly Boy, was born on the 19th of June 1950. He hails from Oguta in Imo State. Multi-talented Charly is a singer, songwriter, television presenter, publisher and producer. One of Nigeria's most controversial entertainers, Charly Boy is best known for his alternative lifestyle, political views and media productions, including the iconic Charly Boy Show. He once served as president of the Performing Musicians Association of Nigeria, PMAN. In 2011, he was also a judge on the Nigerian Idol set. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, good to see you.
Happy to be here as usual.
Indeed, you know, since we've known each other, I'd always looked at you as someone, this man is too different. What's the difference?
How different?
Yeah, what's the difference in you? There's something that
I don't know.
Different.
I feel very regular and very normal.
Are we going to start to
In fact, over
regular?
normal, they worry me. Self.
You want me to define regular?
I don't know. I don't see anything abnormal or different about
Okay, let's
me.
try this now.
Yeah.
Sometimes they list your birth age at 70. Another set of people will say 71.
Because I've decided not to say anything about my birthday. I don't know
irregular.
why that one is
That is
issue.
That is irregular.
That is irregular.
Most people your age will talk proudly about their date of birth. Before we start this program now, you know what they talk now.
Waiting at the talk. Remind me.
I know.
You know, too many spirits they pass. So
no. Make
sometimes.
one spirit bow for another spirit. Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you want to talk about your actual date of birth?
Because, you know, we get football age, we get passport age, we get spiritual age. You can assign any age to any of these different compartments or departments, you know. And because in the beginning, I don't give many dates, so I don't get confused. I know, I don't know really what it is.
But one real age that is there is what?
The real age, the last time I looked, it was 70. That was
last year.
Last year, 2020.
So, 19th of June,
But
1950 led us to 70 in 2020.
That's what they said.
There you go again. That's what is coming up.
Unfortunately, my mom is late now, so we would have asked her. She would have been the only one who would have
to remind you
specific.
To remind you, because I know she told you. For instance, I know that you were so close to your mom. Describe your relationship with her.
Oh, it was heavenly. You know, that was what kept me in Abuja for a long time, taking care of my parents. And I'll tell you that that is the proudest job I ever did in my life. And I'm very happy that I had the opportunity to take good care of them, shower them with love, you know, because I'm sure in the beginning they didn't even think that that was possible, that it was going to be me. Because I give those people, I give them a tough time. I show them pepper. I show them pepper now. You know, as a growing teenager, you know. But I think in a roundabout way, I hold my father responsible because he always taught us to speak up and speak out. You know.
So you got that from him?
Yeah. He will always say things. I remember some of his famous quotes, you know, anyway, you see injustice, you know, you fight it. If you don't fight it, it will come back and chop your head off. You know, things like that. We always had that in the household. We always had things like, do you know who you are? Do you really know who you are? I'm giving you this name, or don't go and spoil it. Or, you know, you have to preserve it. So after, do you know, every time, do you know who you are? Do you know? I say I know who I am. My name is Charles Chukwuemeka Oputa. I live at number 11 Borokiri, Ahofia Road, Port Harcourt. He said, no, you're an Oputa. I said, so? What does being an Oputa mean?
Well, can I pose his question back to you now? Do you really know who you are?
Yeah.
Or have you found out
Because of knowing who I am, that gives me the confidence in the things that I do, and in being comfortable in my own skin, because I know who I am, I know where I'm coming from, I know where I've been to, and I know exactly what I want to do with my life. And praise the Lord, I've been doing that for the past 70 years.
70 is back.
Sure you wanna test my ride? Back here. Sure you wanna take a ride? CB, you know me.
Now, the journey to discover yourself, to know who you are, took you out of Nigeria in your teens. And your dad wanted you to be a lawyer.
Not necessarily.
So,
He wasn't fussy about. He wasn't. He would have loved everybody, because he sees anybody, you know, they start talking law, or if you have some love for law and things like that, then he made a friend in my father. But no, we were just allowed to express ourselves, you know, any which way we wanted, because that was the first freedom. To be vocal, to be curious, to ask questions. We were taught that.
Probe your environment.
Yeah, not to. We're not like the kids. Like when you have elders come over to the house, you know, you tell your kids to go to the other room. Elders are there. No, we weren't brought up like that. We were brought up to stay with elderly people, you know, and we were encouraged to be curious, to ask questions, even though we didn't know what the hell, the issue were about those days. Yeah. And then from early enough, that kind of made me very comfortable with people who are much older than me.
Yeah, I read somewhere that you studied communication.
Yes, I'm a mass comm major. You know, I did mass comm, radio, TV. You know, I used to run a public relation, you know, outfit. You know, we specialized in TV program, radio program, adverts, stuff like that, the documentaries. We did a lot for state governments, federal governments, back in the days.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Now, let's relate that to your life as a performer, as an artist. Was your education helpful in putting it on track?
Yeah, it taught me how to look at things from different perspective. It taught me about being open, being my authentic self. My father raised us very well, if I must say, because early enough, I always heard him say, man, know thyself. A person who has a full understanding of him or herself and knows exactly what he's been given grace to do will only find fulfillment in the things that he or she does.
That's deep.
Yes, and I think my parents set us up on that track.
Track.
Yeah.
So reading mass comm was very useful to you in your engagements as a performer.
Oh yeah.
As an
yeah,
activist.
understanding.
As an activist.
Yeah, understanding the human psyche, understanding, arty people, they like to exaggerate a lot, and where your stunts, your hypes have become effective is when people start to see you in different lights.
Yes.
Because Charlie Boy means different things to different people. It's only from where you stand. If one stands on the side of ignorance, that's all you think that whatever this brand is doing is just something weird about him. There's nothing weird about it.
Talking about something weird, when you hit the scenes in the 80s,
Yeah.
everybody was saying, he's the son of a Supreme Court Justice.
So
how can he dress like that? And you're still dressing like that at 71. Well, almost 71.
I've calmed down a bit.
Calm.
Yeah.
This one is coming.
This one, they come now. I remember when my head used to be red, yellow, green, and all of that.
And you don't get hair again.
Yeah, I don't get hair again now.
So it's not coming. You're toning
when I used to wear 2 different shoes on, each leg, my craze that time, computer no reach am.
You even use the word craze.
Yeah.
You have not seen that craze.
Although my mom was very understanding. My father, on the other hand, actually thought I was crazy. I say crazy because a lot of people out there too thought that the flamboyant image I built as Charlie Boy was crazy, weird, too loud, too flamboyant, not acceptable, perceived as not responsible, especially for the family image. You see, it's a different kind of craze because this craze, wait a minute, this craze is organized. It's well.
It's intentional.
It's intentional.
What was the intention about?
When you have a famous father,
Good.
it's like a big thing hanging over your head.
A huge umbrella.
No, not an umbrella. It becomes a burden. I like to give you an example.
Yeah.
Like, what's his name? Femi Kuti.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah? Fela's son.
Yeah.
Fela was that big.
Huge.
So can you imagine the struggle Femi at the time was going through to be
Femi.
Not
Fela's
to
son.
find his own identity.
Yes.
Because no matter what he will do at the time, he said, you can't be like Fela.
So there you were.
Yeah, I hated to live under anybody's shadow. I didn't want that.
But that man gave you covering.
Say?
Your dad, his name gave you covering. He pushed you to go get education.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, from that perspective, sure. He gave me all I required.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that.
And then you came back, you rebelled against all that you got. We need to say, I want you to say it.
Yes.
So why?
Yes.
Because you
Why?
don't want that cover.
Why? Because you can't just call me up one morning and say, here, take a letter, go there, pack your bag, go and start work. No. I am going to take that from anybody. I never told anybody, I never had any discussion. Say, I'm going to go into paid employment 9 to 5. Yeah, we not discuss that. So when I got that letter one morning, that was in Owerri. I learned I know they go anywhere. That was when our fight really started.
Okay.
You say, why? Everybody, once they finish university, then find work. We don't find for you, you no one work. I said, I didn't have that discussion with you. Oh yeah, what do you want to do? Because I was tired of living under this shadow. I wanted to break away.
Break away.
I wanted to do my own thing.
Not break away, break out.
break out. Yeah, I wanted to do my own thing. So when it came to a head, when they asked me what I wanted to do, and I said I want to be an entertainer. Of course, now everybody was disappointed. So that was when I decided I was going to cut the umbilical cord between me and my parents. At that time, we were in Owerri. So luckily for me, he was promoted as a Supreme Court judge. So he went to Lagos. Then me, we from America, come back. Now village I go enter. You don't see that kind of thing.
Yes, sir. You wanted to
for 7 years.
He was hitting the reset button.
Yes. Now village I go start to build the brand Charly Boy. And for that, those were the darkest 7 years of my life.
Wow.
Because that was when I came to appreciate poverty.
Poverty?
Struggle, yes.
Why?
Why not? Because what grows in the village, really? Villages are where people go, elderly people, senior citizens go to relax and fade out. There's no prospect in the village. But even though I had a recording studio.
There's rejuvenation.
Rejuvenation?
Yes.
When you are young, you're not talking about rejuvenation. You're talking about your burning ambition.
Yeah, but if somebody give you contact, you say you don't want.
Why I go on to 9 to 5 now? I want to do my own thing now. Other people know they succeed when they do their own thing.
They do.
Must I
but that was all he knew.
Huh?
That was all he knew. He was offering what he knew.
No. Well, I don't blame him. Okay. You know, parents are usually, sometimes they're overbearing and they worry a lot about their children. I've learned from
That's very true.
My parents to worry less. Because look at how I turned out. I'm sure in my father's wildest dream when I was like 15, 20, he wouldn't have believed it. Because I always said, oh, you just want to throw your life away. But I knew exactly what I wanted. And I wasn't going to throw my life away. But I was going to do it my way.
So after 7 years, what happened?
After 7 years in the village, well, an angel I met in one of my rare trips to Lagos to, scout for a recording company, see who will, take my body of music. And, I met Tina Onwudiwe.
Onwudiwe, yes.
Yeah, the African Oyibo. Yes. She's late now.
Yes, she is.
And that woman did a number on me. She was the one that restored first my confidence, because 7 years in the village robbed me of my confidence. I started to have an inferiority complex. I was avoiding my friends who I thought were doing much better than I was, and I swore never, ever in those 7 years to go back to my father to say, help me out.
I was just going to ask that in those 7 years, what was your relationship like with your dad?
It was really messed up. We weren't talking. In fact, I can boldly say that I disowned my parents. It got to a point where, I couldn't really take care of my family. I was living with my present wife in the village at the time.
Yes.
So you can imagine, from America to the village, no running water, no light, nothing. So we're like stuck. But the beginning seemed all right. I just had some few gadgets and stuff. I did one emergency studio where guys would come patronize me. Okay. But after the first year or so, everything dried up. Nobody was coming again. That was when I learned how to chop bread and granite for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And it's usually very tasty.
It's very tasty, but too much cholesterol and all of that, not healthy. But that was what we could afford at the time.
At that time.
So 3 years, when me and poverty, they do face you challenge, I had to ask my wife to leave, to go back
to the U.S.
And walk and see whether she can send some little monies for us, because we just had our first baby. my last boy, before she traveled. So I think my son was just about 9 months or a year.
Okay, before they both left.
Before they didn't both leave.
Oh.
My son stayed. I was
stayed. Oh, you were
taking
taking
care
care of
of
him?
my son. Yes. I mean, they changed nappy. I mean, they cook within the boy, they chop. Yes. I didn't have a maid. I didn't have anything.
It'll be okay to conclude that you're a stubborn man.
Yes. If I want something, I can die for that thing.
And you took after your dad in that stubbornness.
I think it's my mother. I got that from my
both
mother.
of them?
Oh, my mother is. You can't shut my mother up. A big winch. Yeah.
So your wife went back to the U.S.?
Yeah, she went back. She stayed almost 4 years. I didn't see her. She was sending money. God bless that woman's soul.
You guys are still together, right?
We're still together now. We'll die here.
But after 7 years, you now broke onto the national scene properly then.
Yes, thanks to Tina Onwudiwe. I'll always say you can't talk about the history of the brand Charly Boy without mentioning that name. That was that time now I was like Mumu now. I was Tina's like pet. She noticed my self-esteem was low. She noticed I didn't have confidence. But she admired me for all the creativity at the time. And she saw in me what at that time I did not see in me. Because she was convinced that this was something special, this was something different, and it was going to blow. I didn't see that because 7 years in the village, like I said, took its toll on me. I started to even feel sorry about myself. So she was the one who gave me my confidence back.
Now you got back that confidence, and it was easy for you, or wasn't it, to chart a path for yourself, to say, this is where I'm going?
Too easy.
Too easy.
Yes, too easy.
So those 7 years were necessary then?
Yeah, you have to go through. You have to go through a baptism of fire. I mean, things don't just happen like that. You must suffer. You must sweat small.
Okay. In the 80s, you were in your 30s. Now, you're at the beginning of your 70s now. You're 71 in June. Now, what has it been like?
Up and down. Because sometimes I have to be Charly Boy. Sometimes I am me, Mr. Charles Chukwuemeka Oputa. And all the time that I'm me, sometimes I wake up in the morning, there's one ankle ache, one wrist ache, one headache somewhere.
The body.
So the body is not adjusting to the commands that I'm giving.
But the engine here is still...
But the engine here and Charly Boy, they seem all fresh.
They're in sync.
Youthful. Okay? And that is why when I leave the Charly Boy brand, there's that thing that attracts young people, little kids, that lives in that brand that I don't want to lose, because it is the brand's simplicity, openness, authenticity that also keeps him youthful.
Now, talking about the youth and being youthful, you have been seen as a huge father figure to the younger generation of Nigerians, at least in the last 3 to 4 decades. And to all intents and purposes, you seem to have influenced the flow of their thoughts.
The brand has crisscrossed generations.
But there is a problem in our society today, and it is drug abuse. east, west, north, south, everywhere. What can we do about it?
We just have to keep fighting it.
How?
The people who young people look up to, they need to start to talk about it in a more positive light. For me, like, you know, I'm open, I'm blunt, sometimes I'm wickedly blunt as Charly boy. You know, I smoke weed, but I will never advocate that for young people.
Yeah.
I can't, but I'm old enough to know what's good for me and what's not good for me.
Yeah.
So I do my thing. Okay? The drug issue is a scourge as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And that is why, like with my kids, I want to be in tune with them, that I know everything. I mean, they can come up, they can be as open as I was taught to be with me. And they look upon me as their friend. Okay? Because I've been down that route before.
You said as their friend. That means that you are improving on the perception of the relationship. Because at some point, you didn't see your dad as your friend.
No, every child, you go think say your papa na wicked person, you know. But all the good things that we were taught when we were little, those are the things I've run back to. Those are the things that are helping me in my life, even though that it's not in sync with the environment. But I've had to fall back on the values and the morality, the integrity as handed down by my father. And thank God, I'm not so much in a bad place not to say, I'm not going to do this. Oputas don't do that.
Yes.
I'm not going to do this. I'm going to be like this. Even if it kills me, yeah, I can afford to do that. And so that's who I have become. But you know, the difference between me and my father, because in the beginning, my father used to punish also. He whipped me tire. And he scared me from learning, because he would want us to be cramming things. Cram and come and recite for him. That's not learning. So we're not learning because we had fun learning. We're learning because we're afraid. If you don't get this thing, you say make you go cram, it go whip you. It wasn't till I got to America that I knew that even learning could be fun. And I never looked back since then.
Since then. I was going to say that, you know, you're a very brilliant man.
I don't know about being...
It's me talking now. You don't need to agree.
Okay. Right. If you say so.
I mean, that's something that I needed to say so that I could put you a bit in a position that would be uncomfortable, because you don't like talking so much about what you have achieved.
I don't think I've achieved anything.
Oh, yes, you have.
It just maybe a little.
If you had it, for instance, there was a time you were the one who came out and quelled the uprising that Okada riders were about to embark upon in Lagos about 2-3 years ago. And at that time, you had even stopped riding publicly. That's an achievement. You were a voice, and still you are a voice that people listen to.
Yeah, I know that a lot of millions of youth have been inspired by my lifestyle, by my story. They've been inspired in such a way that they now understand that they can't give up on themselves or their dreams. And it doesn't matter whether it's your father, your uncle, don't let anybody run your life. Live your most authentic life. And I don't know how it sounds now. It may sound too analogish, but hard work does pay.
So, hard work pays. Still on the youth. I don't hammer. I want hammer. That's what you hear. That motor winning they drive. That's what I covet. I claim it. How? What can we do?
Because the young people are looking at the elders. They're copying all these things from their elders. They are not living in isolation. Monkey see, monkey do. They are waiting how Papa live their life. Now then they copy so. How the people who, by God's grace, are in a position of leadership, how they messed up. They messed up our environment. They messed up the system. You can imagine the plight of young people. Government has failed them. Community has failed them. Parents have failed them. Where should they turn to? In our time, in your time, we had support system. If you are naughty, you are not in your neighborhood, and you are in some other neighborhood, and you do something naughty. In our time, somebody could see you and say, who you be? Who be your papa? After you don't ask that question, say, oh, no, they behave like this for this house. He go correct you, he go send you back, go meet your parents, say, this is what I found your kid doing. Everybody's eye was on the young people, the teachers, the community.
Yes.
Because for my time, when you don't finish like class 5, before you go to the university and you have a good result, before you come back to your house, many people don't call party for your head.
Yes.
It was a thing of pride for parents to say, my son is doing so well in school. It wasn't about the money.
But would you say there's also the part played by population explosion?
It's population explosion, wrong priorities, wrong values. You know, after the war, when we now started to adopt the system, my teeth better pass your teeth. Now there everything crash. Because a thief is a thief. There are consequences of stealing.
Yes.
So all thieves should be prosecuted the same way.
Same way, yes.
No be when your man there for position of power and he's a bloody thief. You say, no, it's okay. But when my own thief come now, it becomes a problem for you. Until we can solve that. It's a mindset thing.
Yeah.
Your thief is better than my thief.
You're saying there must be equality in justice.
Precise now. Precise now. Do A as you take do B. The problem we're having in Nigeria today is because of the too many injustices everywhere. In the north, in the south, in the west, in the east. Injustice everywhere.
Let's evaluate the problem of insecurity in our country. There's so much call for breakup. North wants to go, East wants to go, West wants to go. Where are we going?
We're entering a big dark ditch. We don't know who is flying this plane. This contraption called Nigeria, where is it from? Is it our creation? Or is it the British creation? So, if you have leadership from the 19th century, it can't fit in the 21st century, can it? It can't work.
It can't, yes.
Yeah? If you have a building with a faulty foundation, with the foundation of the building, they know doing well. Then after it don't build like 2 stories, you want to put the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th on a faulty foundation, will that house stand? My brother, you know go stand now.
Yeah. So what's the solution?
The solution, bring down this house. Start again. Because whether we like it or not, what is coming, what is about to happen to us is worse than what we've seen already.
By bring down the house, are you saying restructure?
It could be restructuring. if we go agree. Because you see, this is a give and take situation. Husband and wife live together. They no go talk. When they come to the table, if they have differences, they talk it out.
Yeah.
They have equal respect for one another.
Yeah.
If now the husband just they do what you do, na me dey here, na me be Lord and Master, how the marriage go work now? That is it. Because before we used to have this regional system where we made contribution to the center.
Yeah.
Why monkey go to walk babu the chop? I don't understand. That is the injustices that I'm talking about. That is why Biafra people want to go their own. Oduduwa people want to go their own. Arewa people want to go their own. Because they can't stand these injustices. So until we come to the table to have that conversation sincerely and genuinely, I'm sorry, it's going to get worse. Then we now bring down the house. The house will fall, bata bata. Then we can start from beginning and correct that faulty foundation that we failed to correct in the first instance.
That's your prescription.
That's my prescription.
Talking
And
about
that's the only way I can see it working.
talking about prescription. Have you taken your COVID-19 vaccination?
They were supposed to come. They were supposed to come to the house this morning. I don't know what happened. So I'm hoping that this week, they come to me.
Supposed to come.
Yes.
Area father.
Yes, sir.
Ew.
I say, Father. Hey.
But what would you say to people about the vaccine and being healthy?
Well, how much time remains for me now?
Not to talk like that. Not scare us
No,
now.
just being realistic. How much time remain now? If na poison be the vaccine, they give me that. Well, man must die. Something killed a man. Yeah, it can't be that bad. Prevention is better than cure. So I rather know that I've done everything
Good.
to be safe. So whatever happens, happens. So it's a good thing. I think I like to encourage people to go out and have the vaccine. How bad could it be? Yeah.
Yes.
And still wear the face masks and practice good hygiene.
Good hygiene. Now, you don't like being reminded of your age. You love being the one to tell us that you are.
because age. What is
Wait
age?
now, I
Age
never
is neither-
finished the thing
Okay,
now.
sorry,
Make you
sorry.
hear me now. Which
Okay,
one?
Okay.
See, in regular society, everybody will be calling you senior citizen, elder statesman, and all that. But all of those things don't resonate with you.
No.
How does it feel to be a grandfather?
I don't feel any different. I feel the same way I felt 30, 40 years ago.
Well, how
It's
do you
not a big
relate
deal.
with your grandchildren?
I have 16. Oh, like my relationship with my children, not like father and son. They're like two adults, two playful, spoiled kids. And that's the way I like it because my children tell me everything. You can't imagine sometimes I'm dazed by what they're saying to me, but I try not to show it so they will always feel that they have a hip father, that I'm with the times, Because the kind things they come out for their mouth, I say, okay, let me bond them anyway. And when I remember as I shaking my parents too, I would just laugh. I go calm down for Jesus because what goes around comes around.
It comes around. I wish your mom were alive.
No, my mom, I had a good time with my mom after my father left. It was 3 years, so all the love was showered on her. And my mom pulled the biggest trick. I don't think she knew that I would have loved to be with her as she passes along, but she waited till I traveled when I wasn't around and decided to leave. And for a few days I didn't forgive her about that. I thought it was, that wasn't the plan. But yes, I had fun with my mother. I always joked about her vision. And that's why I call her a witch. Because she was very futuristic in her thinking.
She was like a prophetess to you.
Precise.
So the kind witch where you say your mama carry, you never seen type before. Why?
Simple. She was very futuristic, forward thinking. She held my father. That woman held the house. My father was a player. But my mom tamed him. And tamed all of us, more or less.
But she was also very soft towards you.
Oh, yes. Because she was the first to see that boy in me. She used to call me from the very first day I hear something. I could comprehend things. She used to always call me Charlie Boy. So that name, that's how that name came about. Because that was my pet name.
So the Charlie Boy actually came from her?
Yes. Yeah. That's why they call her witch. Yeah. And when people want to get into issues about how old are you, I say, I beg when I leave that thing. If my mama be witch, waiting, I have vampire blood now. What do I have to do with old age?
You had your first child at 17?
At 16.
16?
Yeah. I'm from Bele spoil now.
From Bele?
From Bele.
Tell me.
I make it to say all these funny pastors they for that time. Night vigil them for the carry me go deliverance. Yeah,
but your mom took care of that's your first child. What's your relationship with him now?
I didn't even agree that it was my child now. Now when I come, things begin to work out for me, that I became more mature, that I went back to look for him. But then, at that time, we were supposed to be in school, not going around and getting women pregnant.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
But your mom did not, she didn't give up on you.
No, just like I can't give up on my kids. You know, like I told you, children are like monkey see, monkey do. I've always seen my mom and my father together since I was born.
Yes.
Even when they have challenges and issues, before I turn my head the other way, I see them stealing kisses, holding hands, you know.
And that's why you're still with your wife?
I guess, because I wanted to be better than what I saw. You understand?
Would you give yourself a pass mark now? Or would you grade yourself, looking at their sheet and your sheet?
Yes, I've tried. 45 years is no more now.
Yes.
Staying with somebody, no. The same smell, the same body, the same face, the same routine. I try. Over-try worry me.
Something to say to her?
She's my best friend. She knows that.
Look into the camera and tell her.
I don't have to be looking into the camera to tell her. She knows what she knows, and that's why we're all dying here. Nobody's going anywhere.
All right, we're about to round off this session of talk, but we won't go without talking about how to sustain older people in their old age. You're an old man now. What are your needs? What really are the needs of an older person?
You see, I'm always, like I say, I'm such an exceptionally blessed person. Only God fit understand. Okay? The kind blessing where I get, sometimes I don't think I deserve it. Because it could have gone the other way.
Yeah.
You understand? But I think that I'm living my life on purpose. because I'm doing really what God had always intended for me to do via people.
Yeah.
I love people. I don't like to see suffering, people in agony. So my heart is always going out for the underdogs. And I got that from my mom. My mom was generous to stupidity. And my father had a little bit of that. And I know that I'm not even supposed to be alive as I'm talking to you. No, because my youth was rough. I got into all kinds of things. Okay? Even drugs. But I healed myself because those were the American years.
Dark days.
Yeah. And I said to myself, this is not how I was brought up. So why are you doing this? I had to even go and see a shrink to figure out, is there something wrong with me or am I, only to be told that what activated my misbehavior at the time was the racism I experienced one-on-one in America. At the time, I was with my baby mama. Her sister came to visit. So there were 2 white women. And here I was sandwiched between 2 white women. We're just taking a leisure walk downtown Boston. And then 7 white, excuse my language, white trash comes out of the Cadillac, all with a baseball bat, nigger this, nigger that, just because I was walking with 2 white chicks. One was the mother-to-be of my baby boy. They beat me that day. I thought I was going to die. The only thing that saved me that day was the police. As police just they go around everywhere and are crime now. So they thought that, the white women I was with had run up to call the police. That's how they let me out. That's how I was saved. And I ended spending almost 5 weeks in the hospital. I never forgot that experience. That was just barely 8 months staying in America. I never thought I had racism in my blood. But then my hatred was potent because I just couldn't figure it out. In our house in Port Harcourt, when my father was a lawyer, he was a legal attorney to Mobile and stuff like that. So we did see Yoruba people, they come house. I didn't think that there were any, I look at them as equals, not as superior to me. Only to go to America, then they asked me where I sabi speak English, whether I live in trees and all that crap, and to call me a nigger. So it wasn't till I saw the shrink when I was now questioning my modus operandi in America. Why am I doing all the stuff that I'm doing? That is kind of alien, that came up.
Okay.
And that was how I was healed, and I said, I'm getting out of this country. I agree now, sir, old. No be lie you talk.
So what does
Charlie
an
boy
old man
can be
need?
old, now.
Yeah, now.
Me as Charles Chukwuemeka, I agree. No be me they talk now. Sometimes I wake up, my knee is not in the right position. Either my neck don't bend, go one side. Little things like that. I'm more into myself, always checking my prostate, checking this, checking that, as a health freak.
What does a man need, an old person need to survive now?
An old person needs a lot of companionship.
Companionship?
If you have children that are good, that are like Charlie boy, who took care of his parents, that will make, you'll age so gracefully. And because an old person needs to surround himself with family and a lot of love.
Okay.
it can bring sunshine to your life.
Good health?
Good health is a sequence of where you are financially. So if you're a little okay, I think that's a major investment that everybody should make in themselves to make sure all the things are working when they should.
So let me throw you this final one now. All right. Are you okay financially?
Am I okay? Financially. Is Dangote okay financially?
On that note, thank you very much for coming on the program. You didn't disappoint me at all. I was expecting something like that. Thank you so much, Charlie boy, for coming on the show. That's how we greet now. Eh?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Nice having you. I hope to come back so we can talk again and look at deeper, other deep stuff.